Jake, I think this is going to be an interesting time for this Los Angeles Chargers team, and there's going to be a lot of common threads as we go through these guys that we talk about. Number one, and this might be kind of I don't think this is a hot take, but my first player in the breakout candidates, number 10, the gunslinger himself, Justin Herbert. Now, folks who are watching, listening, people are like, oh my gosh, how could you say he's having a breakout season in 2023? The guy was nails in 2022. He's been great since he was a rookie. Sure, I agree. I think you are wildly underrating how important some of these factors are for why I believe Justin Herbert is going to have a breakout season in 2023. Let me remind you, Justin Herbert was hurt, but still played for most of the season. In those 17 games that he started, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, almost 4,800 yards. So 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Not bad. Four game-winning drives. Four fourth quarter comebacks. 5 game-winning drives. 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Now, as you kind of look into this a little bit, Jake, have you ever heard of the term failed completion? I looked up this today, and I thought this was fascinating. So, for those who do not know, failed completion is any completed pass that fails to gain 45% of the time, 45% of the needed yards on first down, fails to gain 60% on second down, or 100% on third down. So basically, it's the plays that are kind of dump off, kind of, rip cord, just it didn't really work, broken down. Sure, it's a completion, but it's a failed play. So think of like how many times Justin Herbert dumped it off to Austin Ekeler. Jake, in 2022, Justin Herbert was on pace to break the single season record held by Joe Flacco, which has been standing for, I think, 6 years now. Didn't end up doing it, but I know he had 17 games to do it. Almost did it, but led the league last year, Jake, in failed completions, essentially dump off city. He led the league with 142. Tom Brady had 130. Kirk Cousins at 112. Geno Smith, number 4 at 105. Guys like Joe Burrow way down at 99. Trevor Lawrence, 96. So Justin Herbert, in context, had almost 50 more than Trevor Lawrence in this 2022 episode. So why? Obviously, Justin Herbert wasn't healthy. Obviously, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen were unhealthy. Offensive line in shambles for most of the season. Corey Linsley missed some time. Rashawn Slater basically out for the year. You had a rookie offensive line who held his own on the left tackle. Also had a rookie offensive line in Zion Johnson, but had no running game that was really effective, that kept anybody on their heels. Then you add Kellen Moore for the offensive creativity. You add Quentin Johnston, Darius Davis. You add a healthy Rashawn Slater. Arguably, and not even arguably, this is the best offensive line Justin Herbert has ever had. You add Justin Herbert having a healthy bill of health. Finally, this year. Mike and Keenan both back. You get Darius Davis and Quentin Johnston back, both as kind of an insurance policy, as well as enabling them to throw it down the field, which you've all begged for. I'm incredibly bullish on this run game. We've talked about how important that is. 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in 2022. He could have 10 more touchdowns this year. I could totally see 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Average depth of target probably goes up many yards. And he probably blows past 5,000 yards. Breakout candidate. My number one for the Chargers. MVP candidate as well. Justin Herbert.
Dan, I don't think that this is far-fetched at all. And when you compound all of those facts that you just did into this argument, for what Justin Herbert has done since he's come on the scene has obviously been nothing but remarkable, for even under the circumstances of being injured last year. His first 3 seasons, what he's accomplished statistically is ridiculous. But when you look at now what he has from maybe some things that we would have considered hindered him over the past 2 years, whether we're talking coaching, whether we're talking lack of stability at offensive line, at coordinator, whatever it is that you want to call it. And when you add in a offensive coordinator, the likes of Kellen Moore, with the resume that he has put on display during his time in Dallas, and what we believe that he is going to implement, as opposed to what we've seen from this Chargers offense the last couple of years. Combine that with a new wide receiving core with a couple extra weapons there. Obviously, health has a lot to do with it. As you mentioned, one of the better offensive lines that he has had since he has been with this team. It's hard not to believe that an injured Justin Herbert, who put up those stats last year, that we're not going to see possibly the best version of Justin Herbert this year. And you talk about that with the overall scheme, pushing the ball downfield more, most likely probably going to have a much better running game to complement him, which is going to open up the playbook so much more for this offense. It's not far-fetched at all. Not at all.
Now, we didn't even talk about the possibility of what if this defense is better?